Hello, good morning. We're here today for me to propose a plan to you to prevent falls in the ICU. Let's talk about the problem first. We have all these protocols in place. There's a bunch of examples you can find in hospitals on the internet of fall precautions. Um, Things we throw into our assessment as nurses to target and prevent patients at risk for falls. As we know, we have these protocols, we're trained on them, and falls still happen. Some of the reasons, the biggest reasons that these falls happen, ICU dementia would be one. Um, Patients may not be delirious, but they may be just simply unaware of their disabilities, um, or nurses forget to put the protocols in place, or they simply just don't. They do their assessment and they just breeze right over them. This would be forgetting to start bed alarms, to initiate restraints if necessary, or to double check the restraints that are in place, or to see that they're applied properly and the patient can't get out of the restraints. Or they also forget, nurses forget to do dementia screening within their assessment. So why another protocol? Why accept this plan? Well, this is not a protocol. This is a peer review system. Other protocols do not address prevention as part of the assessment. They don't train the RNs at the bedside using accountability and reinforcement techniques. Let's talk about the cost of a fall in the ICU. So we don't have exact dollars here, but it's pretty safe to use our imagination, as expensive as we know things are in the hospital. A stat CT, you know, easily, several thousands, in some cases, maybe tens of thousands of dollars. That stat CT is ordered almost in any hospital for suspected head injury after a fall. The cost to dress and heal any new wounds that the patient may incur, the cost of any trauma, huge expenses there. Um, and then extra time spent in the ICU. Simply to be in the ICU and take the bed costs thousands and thousands, and in some cases tens of thousands of dollars. So the minimum cost, all those things considered, would be at least tens of thousands of dollars per fall, and in some severe cases, I'm sure you could say in the hundreds of thousands. So, what does my plan address? This is a simple intervention to reinforce the protocols we already have in place. The thing I like about simple interventions, minimum to no extra cost, and the cost savings potential is huge. I say we keep the current protocols. And we also double check our current protocols to make sure they include a dementia or delirium assessment or screening tool, a bed alarm check, and a restraint check. So, what if the patient falls despite the existing fall protocol? Drum roll. Peer review checkoff, something we all know and love dearly. Um, this is observed and documented by the charge nurse on shift. Um, as the nurse, you're required to uh, walk and talk through the checks in the assessment. You perform it at the bedside with the patient there or family in the room or whoever. You do this during your physical assessment at the beginning of the shift. The charge nurse, it's their responsibility to, call the nurse that has been flagged for this, and make sure that this is performed. There's also no repercussions for performing this. It's simply a peer checkoff. So what does this accomplish? Well, it's going to bring about positive change. Simply the act of having to perform this in front of your charge, if your charge is watching you doing it, if the family's in the room, there's going to be a certain amount of, for lack of a better word, embarrassment associated with this. It's gonna help you learn. Now, the intention is not to embarrass the nurse, but it's just to, it's to make a point, really, and it's something that, as a nurse, personally, I would remember if I were to be walked through something that's relatively simple. But we're professionals. You just deal with it, and like as we said before in the checklist before, there are no repercussions for this. This is purely a learning example. If done with an attitude of teaching and growth, positive change will definitely take place. So, what are some goals of this peer review for falls? First of all, we want to educate. That's the number one thing here. Education equals growth. Second goal, develop good habits and high standards within the ICU. If we repeat this over time, then it will just become a standard and an expectation, and it's a good one to have. Third, we want to prevent falls to a minimal rate, and the fourth goal, we want to offer a unit bonus for no falls for 1 year. That's our big goal here. We want to go one entire year without one single fall. And if these checks are in place, there's no reason we can't accomplish that. So it takes minimum budgeting and staffing to accomplish this. Beginning of shift peer review completed by charge nurse. This is an extra unpaid responsibility, but it's manageable. So basically, it's just one more thing the charge nurse has to do. But statistically, there shouldn't even be one per shift. There really should be only one peer evaluation, maybe only a few in a week. And the charge nurse just addresses it at the beginning of the shift, takes a few minutes. It is an extra duty, it is unpaid, but like I said, it's manageable. And then budgeting, we just want to budget $10,000 for unit bonuses, or for the unit bonus of 1 year with no falls. So I got this number, $250 times 50 nurses. Excuse me, times 40 nurses. This is not a significant amount of money considering the cost savings of 1 year without any falls, because we know one fall alone is going to cost tens of thousands of dollars. The timeline of the implementation, June 2nd, 2014. Present the plan to all the nurses in the ICU. Talk about goals, expectations, incentives. Even have an activity maybe through, most hospitals use a computer system to do online checkoffs to make sure all the nurses are aware of new policies in the hospitals. Have one of those. July 7th, 2014, we're going to launch the program, and it's going to go into effect. That means from that time on, any nurse, if you're a nurse and have a fall on your shift, sometime in the near future, you will have a peer review with the charge nurse. In October, this is 90 days after the launch date, we're going to just review everything that's happened, see what's working, see what's not working. And June 1st is 1 year after the launch of the program, and we're going to reevaluate and decide same thing. If it's working, not working, we're going to send out statistics and let everyone know the success rate of the program. So thank you for listening to my proposition. I look forward to working with you and making the ICU a safer place for our patients. Thank you very much.